My sister turned my family against me, so I got my revenge in the sweetest way. I grew up as the younger brother in a family of 3 kids. For 15 years, my older sister systematically isolated me, making me the scapegoat of every problem. She spun every little mistake into a career-ending scandal in front of our parents. When I was 18, she framed me for losing Dad's business documents. I was sent home without a word. By the time I knew the full story, my family believed her lies over my truth. I was alone, broke, and furious. Now, a decade later, I'm finally in a position to pay her back with interest. Over the years, she did everything she could to ruin me. She systematically lied to our parents about my mistakes and never admitted her faults, sabotaged my scholarships by forging signatures and claimed I was irresponsible, spread rumors that I was dating a dangerous crowd, so Mom grounded me for months. After high school, I had no family support. I fought through community college on my own dime and built a quiet little career as a financial consultant. All that time, I kept my ears open. I eventually found out my sister had taken over our father's company. She was funneling money into her own projects and pretending the business was thriving. My parents had no idea they were being deceived by her, and I was sick of it. I spent years learning everything I could about the business and her weak points while keeping my distance. I knew I needed a foolproof plan to ruin her when the time was right. The plan. I realized I couldn't just confront her directly. I needed solid proof and a way to expose her in front of everyone who mattered. So I devised a 3-stage plan. 1. Become the insider. I rebranded myself as Richard Blake, an outside consultant for small businesses. After sending a polished resume to her office, I managed to land a contract as a junior advisor in Dad's company, which she was secretly running. Nobody recognized me. 2. Gather evidence quietly. Over months at the company, I built trust with her. I worked late, volunteered for her tasks, and even helped sign off on fake invoices she created. Under the guise of assisting, I photocopied ledgers and collected spreadsheets. I recorded her admitting to financial fraud in casual conversation. If anyone asks, blame the CFO, classic slip of the tongue. Every shady transaction, every hidden offshore account, I took pictures of everything. 3. Exposed at the annual meeting. Our father still legally owned 80% of the company, and every year he held a big shareholders meeting on his birthday. I arranged for Dad to ask me to present the yearly financial report, since he was having knee surgery and felt too weak to deal with details himself. On the big day, Dad had no idea I was the real author of the presentation slides. I just had to reveal the truth at the right moment. Each step had to be perfect. I felt like a spy, and I was loving it. Every time my sister bragged about how I was doing well out there on my own, I nodded and smiled inwardly. Little did she know I was planning her downfall. Execution. The birthday meeting arrived. Dad's favorite restaurant was packed with relatives, family, friends, and the few silent shareholders. My sister wore her usual tight suit and smug grin. She opened with a self-important speech. This year, our family business has grown 20% thanks to my leadership. I've taken on extra work and personally negotiated new deals. She leaned back in her chair, expecting applause. I took a deep breath. This was it. I clicked my slideshow to the first slide, not about profits, but a detailed list of suspicious transactions. The room fell silent. "Sarah," I said calmly, showing her the first slide on the big screen. "Remember telling Dad you couldn't balance the accounts? Turns out, you were busy moving money to yourself." I advanced the slide. A waterfall chart showed millions diverted to a hidden account. Muffled gasps erupted. "Here's Exhibit A, invoices you signed to your personal company last week, Value Pro Limited." The next slide flashed a photo of her forged signature on a check. I clicked again, audio of her saying, "If they push back, just tell them I didn't see the discrepancy," recorded on my phone. Her face went pale. The relatives around whispered, "Is this true?" My heart pounded. Just as planned. I glanced at Dad. He clenched the table. What is going on?" he stammered. "I have the proof," I said. "All her lies are right here in black and white." My sister interrupted, shouting, "This is bullshit! You're lying, you computer nerd!" She lunged at the laptop, but Dad stood up. Enough. He was reading the slides. "These numbers, are these her doing?" he asked quietly. At the 4th slide, I dropped the final nail, an email from her to the accountant. "Fake the figures. No one checks." The silence that followed was deafening. My sister's eyes darted around, looking for sympathy, but the board members, including our godfather and a few uncles, were clearly stunned. Our mother had buried her face in her hands. "Ricky," Dad said my real name softly. "If what you're saying is true—" "Yes, Dad," I confirmed, voice steady. "She's been cooking the books. Everything, the relocation, the new car payments, it was paid with company funds." My sister leapt out of her chair. "No, you thief. I was doing what you wished you could. You broke my trust years ago, now I'm tearing you down," she glared. "You ruined my life with lies. Now you want to ruin mine." The door flew open and security officers who'd been called for the chaos stepped in. She tried to explain, but none of us believed her anymore. "That's it," Dad said, voice trembling but firm. "I'm changing the board. You're out." He looked at me, tears forming. "Why did you do this?" I swallowed hard. "Because you should have known the truth a long time ago," I said. "Because she lied about me, and I got nothing for it." He covered his face with his hands. "I'm so sorry, son. I didn't see it sooner." My sister's shoulders slumped. She was finally quiet. The whole room seemed to shrink with shame. I felt a bizarre mix of adrenaline and emptiness. Revenge accomplished. Update 1. 1 week later. Dad officially removed my sister from the company and revoked all her benefits. He reinstated my name on his will, which she had secretly erased before. He begged me to take over as VP of Finance, but I politely declined. I told him all I ever wanted was the truth. I wasn't asking for anything, except maybe a little respect. Seeing Dad apologize to me in front of everyone was better than any promotion. He promised he'd make amends. He even helped me secure a small loan, with family support, so I could finally start the boutique consultancy I dreamed of without moving across the country for it. My sister has gone dark. One evening, she showed up unannounced at my apartment, tearing up. "I'm so sorry. I never meant. I just needed Dad's approval," she cried. I felt one flicker of softness, but I reminded myself of every lie. "You've done enough damage," I told her. "I hope you find some peace." She left with a drawn face. I haven't heard from her since. Oddly, friends and even co-workers of hers have thanked me for what I did. One hired me for a side project as a trainer, impressed by how I handled that mess. A distant cousin, who knew pieces of the truth, now treats me like a hero. I'm building new support around me. No arrests were made. My sister's misdeeds were settled quietly. Dad just froze her accounts and handed her a severance package. I suspect by now she's back in a small town, working a job far below her former status. I sometimes wonder if she called Mom or Dad crying, but I prefer not to know. The house is peaceful for the first time in years. Update 2. 6 months later. It's been half a year, and life has taken a twist I didn't see coming. Without my sister micromanaging everything, the company Dad started is actually growing again. He thanks me for saving it. Last month, he did something that blew me away. He changed his will to finally give me control of the company when he retires. Not because I demanded it, but because he said, "You're the only one left I can trust." Me? Running the family business? I politely declined. Instead, I used a portion of our inheritance to buy into the tech startup I've been consulting for. That startup has blown up. Apparently everyone in town saw how clever I was at revealing the truth, and investors came calling. I'm part owner of a cutting-edge app now, something my 18-year-old self would never have believed. My sister ended up taking a job in a cafe after her severance dried up. Last I heard, she's dating someone locally and trying to lay low. Ironically, without the company's money, she's living a humbler life now. I occasionally wonder if she'll ever feel what I did. Funny note. During all this, my college sweetheart reconnected with me. She had seen headlines about the family scandal and reached out. We've been dating steadily, and she's been the rock keeping me sane. Sometimes I joke that spilling coffee on a projector brought me more luck than years of living in Dad's shadow. Looking back, I got far more than just sweet revenge. The plan relieved a decade of pain, and it even opened doors I never expected. I hold no ill will now. Mom and Dad apologize for not seeing the truth sooner, and that's enough for me. My sister's still figuring out her life, and perhaps one day I'll hear that she's learned her lesson. Until then, I'm moving on to better things.